Yo, what is good, everybody? I hope everybody's having a great Friday. Today, we are going to be doing and talking about our week 2 predictions for college football. We're going to be doing strictly just the top 25 for this week. Yeah, we're going to strictly just do the top 25. I was going to give a couple other predictions, but we might hold out on that. Week 3, I'm going to be doing like a little tally to see like what my record is looking like for the past 2 weeks. Yeah. And we're going to try and keep score until the end of the year and see what my record looks like, on my predictions. But without further ado, thanks for tapping in the Number G Takes. I hope y'all are having an amazing day. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you can share it to a friend or two, let me appreciate you. But without further ado, let's get straight into it, man. We got Georgia versus Austin Peay. I definitely think that Georgia is going to win that game, but we have a couple injuries on the offensive side of the ball. I definitely feel like this is going to be a great showing to kind of see what Daniel and Michael look like. I'm very high on those guys, so I just think that they just need they just need some reps. You know what I mean? They need some game time reps to kind of just get acclimated, get settled, and they'll be able to show you guys what they can do, man. I think Gaston is going to be all right. They said that he's only going to be out for maybe a couple games, but I'm very high on those two, and I think the right tackle is injured as well. But I'm very high on both too, so I'm not really worried about the tackle position. I'm more so worried about the guard position. I think Bo is gonna look real good, and he looked good last week. So I think that's a plus, especially with us having those injuries. On to the next one. We got Clemson versus Troy. I got Clemson winning this one. I think this is going to be a bounce back game for them. Clemson did not look good on the offensive side of the ball, which I already kind of speculated that was going to be their problem. If they can't fix the running game, I don't really see them making it far. But what I will say is Georgia Tech has kind of given like a playbook of what Clemson should kind of try and do, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And they should try and get Cade the Brock as many times as they need. He gonna have to toughen up. At the end of the day, I know that's not his forte per se, but if you can't find a running game with a running back, bro, you might gotta do it yourself, man. You might gotta do it yourself. His condition is gonna have to be top tier this year. Because you can't keep the defense on the field like that, like how they were. That's the reason why they lost. Their defense was on the field pretty much 80% of the game, 70% of the game. You can't do that. You can't do that and expect to win football games. Alabama versus Louisiana Monroe. I got Alabama. I definitely feel like this is going to be a bounce back game for them. I want to see what their physicality look like. They let Florida State run the ball over like 230 yards, 240 yards, I believe. I think it was over like 230 yards. But yeah, like you can't let that happen. Can't let that happen. If you letting the team just run the ball down your throat like that, when the quarterback only giving you like 150 in the air, and you losing football games like that, that's just nothing but physicality. Who wanted more? You know what I mean? And Florida State that day they wanted it more. So we gonna see what Alabama talking about after this game because I don't think that's not gonna define them. You know what I mean? For this year, I think that's gonna be the push and the kick that they need to try and get back into the mix. You know what I mean? Even though I don't think they're gonna beat Georgia, but I think that at least give them a little. I don't think they want it as much. You know what I mean? And honestly and truly, in this day and age, especially with money being involved, you gotta want it. You gotta want it. Penn State versus FIU. I got Penn State. I think Penn State definitely should be the number one team in the country. I think they have the best overall roster, from defense to offense, head to toe. But Drew Aller is gonna be the question mark for everybody. You know what I mean? Texas versus San Jose State. I got Texas. I think Texas. Steve did not put Arch in predicaments. In my opinion, he did not put Arch in predicaments to win the game. Sorry about that. So I feel like this game they're gonna try and push the ball down the field, which is what they need to do. Try and push the ball down the field, get him comfortable with his wide receivers. Him and his wide receivers need to be on the same page. And honestly and truly, if the offensive line needs to look a lot better. Needs to look a lot better. Again, I don't think they're gonna beat Georgia, but if they can pick it up on that side of the ball, I think their defense is pretty good because they definitely kept them in the game for a good majority of the game. Illinois versus Duke. I think Illinois is a sleeper team in the Big Ten strictly because, for one, they have a very favorable schedule. Very. And if they can run that gauntlet, I can definitely see Iowa being Illinois. Sorry about that. Illinois in the Big Ten championship this year for sure. If they can run that gauntlet, but I think Luke is a dog, and I think they definitely have some pieces around him to kind of, make something happen. As well as I think the defense looks pretty good as well. I like what Duke has done by going out and getting that stud quarterback that they got. That brother there is a dog. He is a dog. And I definitely think Duke is going to be a sleeper team in the ACC this year. So I think this is definitely going to be a good game. But I have Illinois with this one. Florida State versus, I don't know if that's Eastern Texas A&M or East Texas A&M, but I got Florida State. Their defense is what really shocked me. I didn't think that they were going to play like that, and they look good, you know. And that's what I mean by, like, you just gotta want it more. They did not let Alabama run the ball at all. I think Alabama had less than 100 yards on the ground. When you can stop the run, you can win football games, most definitely, man. And I definitely feel like their defense is gonna be pretty stout this year. If Tommy can just minimize turnovers and just if he can just be a game manager, I definitely feel like Florida State can make it very far. Iowa versus Iowa State. I got Iowa State, but I will say, because I love the Iowa State football game, I'm definitely gonna watch it. But I will say, when it come down to Iowa, I like their quarterback that they went and got from South Dakota State. I thought he was pretty good last year and the year before. And to see him come to Iowa, I think he's going to be the piece that gets them over that hump when it comes down to the offense. So as long as their defense, which we all know Iowa's defense is going to be pretty good, as long as their defense can keep them in football games, I definitely feel like Iowa's going to be a sleeper team for the Big Ten as well. Iowa State, they look really good as well. Like I said, both of them, they always gonna have a good defense. That's just what it is in Iowa defense. And then as long as the offense can make some shake, which they have somebody on offense at their quarterback position to make some shake, if they could put things together, I can see them being a really good team in the Big 12 this year too. Baylor versus SMU. I'm gonna just go with SMU for this one because I just didn't like how Baylor looked last week. I think they looked very timid. The offense didn't really look too good to me. Their defense didn't let Jackson Arnold throw the ball, but then they let them run the ball all over them. And again, that's how you could lose football games that way. You know what I mean? So if they can't stop the run, I don't really think they can really stop SMU. Cause I think SMU has a really good running back. I think is the quarterback still at SMU too? If he's still there, then again, that's a running quarterback. So I can definitely see SMU winning that one. Indiana versus Kennesaw State. I have Indiana. I love that they went and got the quarterback from Cal, and I love that he's putting Indiana on the map. I don't know what their defense is gonna look like, but just like the head coach said last year, everywhere I go, I've won, and hey, I think they're gonna be a pretty good team this year. They don't really have a favorable schedule like Illinois. I'm tongue twisting myself. They don't because all the odds, but um, they don't have a favorable schedule like Illinois, and so I think that their gauntlet is going to be a little bit harder to get to the Big Ten championship. But I can see them possibly either squeezing in at 11. They one loss team, two loss team, only lost maybe one of those big games, pulled out maybe a win in one of those big games, they could definitely be a sleeper team for sure. But I think that's just we just have to see. We got to see what they look like, when it comes down to those games, because they could get to those games, get absolutely smacked around. Then I have my hands in the air. You know what I'm saying? I have my hands in the air. Kent State versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech offense look good, but their defense is gonna be the questionable part. If their defense can just keep them in the game, Texas Tech offense is gonna score points. That's just what they do, and I love it. At the end of the day, that's how I feel. I think Texas Tech is gonna win that game. Texas A&M versus Utah State. I got Texas A&M. I am just questionable about their defense. To me, I think that's always the thing about Texas A&M. I think their offense can win them games, but their offense can also lose them games. But their defense is what really is the question mark to me, because if their defense can't keep them in the games, then their offense will never have an opportunity to win them games. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of how that goes. Um, they still have a lot of young guys that still need to kind of like prove themselves and stuff like that. But I think that Texas A&M is on the uprise. Ohio State versus Grambling. I got Ohio State. I'm not really high on their offense, if I'm just being honest. And I did see like on some other people's podcasts and some ESPN and all the rest of that stuff. They were like, if Ohio State is like the danger team because their defense looks so good that their offense doesn't have to play good to win them football games. I do not feel that way. I feel like if they go against a team like Michigan at the end of the year, who is going to do one thing and one thing only this year, they're going to tote that rock. If they go against a team that's going to shove it down their throat the entire game, like we all know Michigan's going to try and do, I don't know if Michigan's defense is going to hold up to that, for one. And then for two, we all know that Michigan's defense is going to be good. It might not be the best, quote unquote. Again, we haven't really seen the true potential of what they're going to look like, but Michigan's defense is not going to just slack off. You know what I mean? I definitely feel like Michigan could beat them, but we will see. I think their defense is really good though, but I got to see what that offense looks like. If the offense don't improve, I don't really see them going too far, because it's too many good teams with good defenses. You know what I mean? And it's too many good teams like the one that we about to discuss right now, Oregon. They're gonna have an offense. I just don't see you stopping Oregon the entire game, and not getting both of them not getting more than 14 points. Because at the end of the day, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. But Oregon versus Oklahoma State, I got Oregon. Dan Ledden got them boys looking good. I don't know what the defense is gonna look like all the way when they playing high caliber teams, because they got a lot of young guys on that defense. But I think the offense is gonna look real good. Ole Miss versus Kentucky. I'm gonna go with Ole Miss, but I need for the quarterback to figure it out. I think he had like 3 interceptions, 2 interceptions, or something like that. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. We need you to do better than that. If you're gonna win football games, especially in the SEC, that ain't gonna cut it. That ain't gonna cut it at all. That's gonna have you right on the bench or hurt. Eastern Tennessee State University, East Tennessee State University. I think. I don't know. I y'all let me know. But they going against Tennessee. I got Tennessee. Tennessee look real good. I think they definitely won the trade between Joey and Nico. He looked like he belonged on that team. He could throw the ball. He can throw the ball well, and I just think that he has a lot of weapons on the outside that all he has to do is give him the ball. If he gives them weapons the ball, them weapons can really make him look good. And honestly and truly, we've seen that. The defense is going to be the sketchy part about Tennessee, because I don't think their defense is going, when they get into SEC play heavy, I don't know if their defense is going to be able to keep up with with all the other big boys. That's all I'm saying. But we're gonna have to see what they look like. South Florida versus Florida. Let me say this now. I think that South Florida is gonna definitely pull out a win against either Florida or Miami. They're gonna pull out a win against one of those guys. And the only reason I say that is because they quarterback look great. To me, I was high on him 2 years ago. Cause I remember him 2 years ago, and I was like, "What happened to him last year? He tore his ACL or something like that, or his ankle got injured, and he missed the whole year." But yeah, man, I definitely think he showed y'all like, "Hey, I'm back. I'm here again." And I definitely think if he can minimize the mistakes and keep them on the field, I definitely feel like they could pull out a win against one of those guys. But I got Florida winning the game. Florida's offense looked really good. DJ looked really good. The defense got some new pieces. They look really good. I have this. We just got to see what they look like. Florida like to do this up and down type thing. They do this the entire year, and so until they get consistent, I can't really give my true opinion on Florida. So that's just how I feel. But I definitely feel like the young guys that they picked up are gonna be really good. Utah versus Cal Poly. I got Utah. Utah's quarterback looked great. I feel like if again how they utilized him in those certain packages and he was running the ball and stuff like that, if Cade can do the same thing, I feel like that's how we could correlate. You know what I'm saying? Their offenses to kind of make Clemson get rolling. But like I said, Utah looked really good. Their defense looked great. But Utah's defense always looked great. One thing I will say is that Utah loves to use two-way players. And I don't know why, but I love that about Utah. I've always loved that about Utah. They will have a cornerback playing cornerback, and then they'll bring the cornerback over. He be playing running back, wide receiver. The safety be playing safety and wide receiver. Like them boys, they really do be playing like multiple positions over there, and they be good. Like they had a tight end. I was playing running back. Like, bro, why are you back there? And I'm talking about he was toting it, moving, 6'3", moving. Like, bro, calm down. But I do like that about Utah. They love to use their players in different ways to get them the ball. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta love that about a head coach. You know what I mean? Miami versus Bethune. I'm going Miami. Carson Beck looked pretty good. The offensive line looked really good. The wide receivers was making Carson Beck look like a Heisman candidate. I just think that as long as the defense can keep them in games, Miami always has a chance at this point. I know my dad is excited, so I'm happy for him. South Carolina versus South Carolina State. I think South Carolina's going to not run away with it. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think South Carolina's going to win the game. I am very high on Lenores. I think that he is not. He's Cam Newton like. Cam Newton like is what I call it. But the brother is strong. The defense can keep them in games and stuff like that. But as long as the defense can keep them in games, I definitely feel like Lenores can win you football games. LSU versus Louisiana Tech. I got LSU. Them Georgia boys and Harold Perkins. That's just a nasty linebacker combination that they got over there. And honestly and truly, I think it's the best in the country. As long as they secondary can, fix their mistakes and stuff like that, the linebacker room gonna keep them in games. That defense gonna keep them in games. So the offense, honestly and truly, just gotta pick it up. If the offense picks it up, LSU gonna be a scary team. LSU gonna be a scary team. Arizona State versus Mississippi State. I got Arizona State. I think Arizona State is gonna definitely be a sleeper team for the Big 12. Let me look at their schedule because I haven't looked at their schedule yet. But I think if they have a favorable schedule, which they somewhat do, they got a couple teams that they got to play high rank. They got Texas Tech and Utah. Those are going to be really good games. But if they can get through that gauntlet, I think they're going to be the team to beat. The defense is going to be the question mark. The offense, we know what they're going to do. We need to see what the defense is going to look like throughout the year. So, yeah. And then for the big banger, the Michigan versus Oklahoma game. I believe that Michigan is going to win the game, so I'm going to pick Michigan. But I feel like if Oklahoma gets hot on offense quick, then that defense ain't gonna be able to keep up. Their Michigan's offense isn't gonna be able to keep up with Oklahoma's offense because we seen what John was doing over there Washington State, throwing that thing. And last week, I think he had 4 tuds, and like before halftime, or going in the third quarter, he already had 4 touchdowns. If brother can really go out there and sling the ball like how he been slinging, Oklahoma's gonna be a sleeper team. But I don't know what their defense gonna look like, which is crazy because we talking about Brett, like one of the best defensive like minds in the game right now. But at the end of the day, the defense has always been a little bit sketchy when it came down to Oklahoma. Outside of last year when they beat down on Alabama randomly, which is crazy. So at the end of the day, it's like they've shown you that they can do it. It's just, can they be consistent on defense to win y'all football games, to keep your offense and to keep your team in the game, so your offense can go out there and win the football game for you. Honestly and true, that's with a lot of these teams. Can the defense keep them in the game for the offense to get on the field to win them the football game? So that's honestly what we looking like right now. I just think that if Michigan can control the clock and Michigan can control, the yards, the line of scrimmage, I think it's just gonna be hard for Oklahoma to win that football game. But I could definitely see a world where Oklahoma could definitely win. I'm gonna go with Michigan strictly because I know their defense is gonna be pretty decent, and they have one of the best running backs in the country. To me, I need to see what John looks like against a top tier team. After this week, then I'll have a better understanding of what that Oklahoma team is gonna look like. So yeah, those are my picks for this week too. I hope you guys honestly, let me know what you guys think. If you agree, if you disagree, if I'm not rolling with your team, how you feel about that. But I think that college football is gonna be real interesting this year because we already seeing some crazy things happen already. Let's enjoy the ride and let's put out this content for you guys, man. I appreciate you guys for coming out and listening, man. Hope you guys have a great day. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And like I said, man, if you could share to a friend or two, that'd be great. 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 You guys have a good one. All right. Peace.